So it's a quick video just showing how to change parameters and display positions. Now it is quite complicated, and this spreadsheet that John from Insight Central did, which is available on the forum, is useful. It shows parameters and the values and screen locations, etc. So anyway, going back to the OBD, so I've obviously gone into the menu here, obviously, which is pressing center, and then obviously you have to scroll up until you start getting to the parameter location. So this is the first thing we need to change, because the parameters that you want, I think it was the air intake temperature and the DC to DC temperature, are not currently selected. So you can see there we have parameters. They start at 0 and then they go up to 15, so that's 16 parameters in all. Okay, that's enough for 2 screens there. And then after the parameters, you'll see we start to see the screen lines. So what these screen lines mean basically is the number that you see at the end there, that's the number of the parameter above. So for instance, screen 1, line 1 there says 0, 0, 0. So that means that at that position on the screen, which is the first screen, line 1 on the left, you're going to get parameter 0, 0, 0, which is the parameter 0. So if we go back up, we're going to get this parameter 0, 1, 0. Whatever that is in the parameter list, and that might be battery voltage or something like that. So that's the parameter that's going to appear at screen 1, line 1. So we've got to change a couple of parameters. Now you'll see down here we've got V and X. X means the parameter is reserved and cannot be changed. So we've got to find 2 parameters that we can change, and we can change parameter 2 on here, and I think we can also change parameter 11. Yeah, so they've both got a V. If they've got a V next to it, it means you can change it. So we're going to change those to IAT, intake temperature, and DC to DC temperature. So we'll go back to the number 2. So to change it, it has to be on the top line. To access a parameter, it has to be on the top line. And if I can remember correctly, it's right, I think. Yeah, okay. So press right to be able to adjust this parameter. So then you have to look up the value that you want. So IAT is actually 120, so we need to change that to 120. So I'm pressing down here. Takes a while, obviously. You can go up or down, forwards or backwards. So we're going to change this parameter to 120, which is the air intake temperature parameter for a US 1999 to 2004 Insight. Okay, so we're happy with that. Press confirm. So yes, up. So we've changed parameter 2 to 120, which is the IAT. So remember parameter 2 because we're going to need that in a minute. So then we're going to go to parameter 11, I think it was. Yeah, 20. We're going to change this. This is the we want this to be the DC to DC temperature. So I'll look up the DC to DC temperature, and that is actually parameter 9 we want there. So I'm going to knock that down to 9. Again, exit, press, yes, we're happy with that, confirm, yes. So now we've changed those 2 parameters, parameter 11 and parameter 2, to the ones that we actually want to eventually display. So you've got to remember where they are. So 2 was the IAT and 11 was the DC to DC. So now we need to go down to the screen. Now you wanted to change, I think it's position screen 1, line 3 and line 4, the right hand side. So we know we've got 2 and 11, so you can see there it says 12 and 7 at the end there. So we'll go down, we'll do screen 1, line 1, we'll make this the IAT first of all. So we'll press right here. Now we need to drop that down to 2 because this is the parameter we're going to display at that position. Oops. So we're going to display parameter 2, which you saw earlier on, which we've changed to the IAT at screen 1, line 3, right. Press confirm that. And then we'll go down to screen 4, screen 1, line 4, right. And this was going to be parameter 11, if I remember correctly. So we're going to change this. Okay, so we've changed screen 1 line 4 right to 11 and screen 1 line 3 right to 2. So you can just go back and check. We just go back up to the parameters. We see 11 is 9, which is the DC to DC temperature, and 2 is the IAT. So we should be able to come out of that now. Press exit obviously, and I have to skip over this because it's not actually connected to a car. And there we are. And you can see now that we have normal things here, but now we've changed these. We've got the air intake temperature there, and we've got the DC to DC temperature at the bottom there. So hopefully that makes sense, and you should be able to follow it now. It is complicated, but I tried to make it as flexible as possible, so you could have lots of parameters and then you could display them how you wanted. Now if you wanted to display parameters on the next screen, because obviously pressing right takes you through a selection of screens, mostly a lot of these are for the LTO, but the first two screens are sort of like the main 16 parameter screens. So you can chop and change, but you need to download this big spreadsheet from John from the forum and have a go and see how you get on. That's it. Good luck.